Let's talk to Brooke Rollins, Agriculture Secretary. Get to the USDA in a moment here. I want to first ask you about the economy. A couple little competing opinions here, all right? Here's the White House for you. Kevin Hassett said this yesterday morning.
There are a lot of reasons to be extremely bullish about the economy going forward, but for sure this quarter there are some blips in the data. What's going to happen is the first quarter is going to squeak into the positive category, and then the second quarter is going to take off as everybody sees the reality of the tax cuts.
Okay, so you got that, and you got Charlie Gasparino writing this, saying Wall Street pukes up its own medicine. And it's call for number two, guys. And what he talks about is deregulation. He talks about the Trump team trying to deleverage the federal government and get it out of the American economy here. Brooke, on the flip side of that, you have J.P. Morgan now saying a recession is up to a 40% possibility. So what is it? Is it Hassett and Gasparino, or is it Jamie Dimon at J.P. Morgan?
Well, first of all, good morning, and thanks. Great to be with you on this beautiful day here at the White House. Listen, the bottom line is this: no one really knows, but here's what I do know, and here's what I believe, and my vision is exactly aligned with Kevin Hassett, my brilliant friend here running the National Economic Council, all of our dear friend Larry Kudlow and others, that this was always part of the plan, that the president's tool basket and his tools in that tool basket of how to truly bring our economy back after the malaise of the Biden years, but it's going to be a little bit bumpy. It will be imperfect. I mean, if it was easy and you could do it overnight, then it would happen with a snap of a fingers, but that's not it. And I think what's really telling is the president is so focused on not the short term, which, as we all know, in politics, everyone's always worried about the short term. He truly wants to fix America so that we have the American dream for everyone in a way that we lost in the last 4 years. And until Trump won, we'd lost for a long, long time. So this is really the reality where we are today. But I think Kevin's vision that it's going to be a little bumpy for a few weeks, but once we move into second quarter, we'll see a turnaround through deregulation, through lower taxes, through less government, through a focus on private enterprise and free markets versus a focus on bigger government spending, which is what we had in the last administration.
Madam Secretary, great to see you again on our program.
You too.
One of the things I'm wondering about is how the administration is thinking about helping protect the family farmer, because big conglomerates can maybe weather the storm that is coming. But family farmers, even if it is looking to second quarter, I mean, they live on such small margins in terms of profitability, if they can get to profitability. So losing some of this market share or having to deal with all of this uncertainty is a problem. Do you anticipate perhaps having to ask Congress for some sort of help for family farmers in America?
Well, Dana, great. Good to be with you also. Listen, the president has been intensely focused on how we protect and elevate and even take our farmers into a new day of prosperity. My very first phone call after I was sworn in was with President Trump, and that was his #1 message, was tell the farmers I love them and I am with them, and that we will use, talking about tools in the toolkit, we will use every tool that we have as we move into the next few months, the next year and beyond, to ensure that our farmers are protected. I'm in conversations all day, every day, to ensure that that happens. But Dana, I think one of the most important things that we will need to do, but it also goes back to the Biden administration, is in the last 4 years, we moved from a $0 deficit to a $49 billion trade deficit with our ag products. I mean, think about all of the farming community, but especially our family farms. Just that tiny margin of losing that export opportunity is huge. So part of my job, I was on two significant meetings yesterday. I'm going to be moving out across the world in the coming months, working on behalf and alongside our trade leaders here in this White House, with President Trump, with Vice President Vance, to open the markets back up and to get our ag products out into the world, to ensure that we have obviously the robust market here at home, which the president has talked about. He had a very colorful conversation with Trudeau of Canada on the 250% tariffs on our dairy products that Canada imposes. We've got to right-size the ship, and that's what he's doing.
Okay, there's another thing here, right up your alley. USDA cancels $1 billion in local food purchasing for schools and food banks. How do you justify that?
Well, listen, I think it's really important. And of course, the left is doing what the left does. These were COVID era programs. These were additional funds, and then under Biden, more and more and more and more money. So just yesterday, we're canceling more contracts on food justice for trans people in New York and San Francisco. Obviously, that's different than the food programs in the schools, but it is really important. We spend billions and billions and billions of dollars on nutrition programs for lower income and socioeconomically disadvantaged kids. But the Biden administration used that to often push money out, taxpayer dollars out, that is not reaching its intended target. So that new program that came in the last few years, again, trying to spend more and more money, we're pulling that back. As we have always said, if we are making mistakes, we will own those mistakes and we will reconfigure. But right now, from what we are viewing, that program was non-essential, that it was a new program, and that it was an effort by the left to continue spending taxpayer dollars that were not necessary.
One last question for you. Are you finding, along with Elon Musk and his team, any sort of waste, fraud, and abuse, especially when it comes to sort of the climate change, global warming money that the Biden administration tried to push out in those last couple of months?
It's, Dana, it's insane. And every day there's a new grant uncovered, or a new payment that was put out, or a new commitment that were not new for us, but that that was implemented under Biden that we're just uncovering. It is bordering on almost negligence, probably perhaps more than negligence, on the way our taxpayer dollars were spent. But we are on it. We're on the game. We're going to make sure that the taxpayers are represented. The voters voted for change with President Donald Trump, and we're going to really work every single day to truly make America great again. And that's a massive part of that effort.
Well, you sound like you're his speed, so thanks for coming back and talking with us today. Brooke Rollins, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank y'all.